The much-lauded pay equity settlement is contributing to the demise of a decades-old disability and rehabilitation service that's helped thousands of people. Laura Fergusson Rehabilitation offers residential and outpatient care, including rehab programs for people living with disabilities and those affected by strokes, brain and spinal injuries. But all of its services in Whanganui, Waikato and Auckland will shut up shop by August after the board of Laura Fergusson Trust Incorporated voted unanimously to close them down because it simply can't balance the books. Born with spina bifida, John Volk, who's also an amputee, has had more than his share of uphill battles.
I don't walk at all. I'm permanently using a manual wheelchair now, and that's largely because in my teens I was diagnosed with a curvature of the spine and a dislocated hip, which they did fix, but the curvature redislocated the hip. And I chose myself not to have either of those things re-looked at, so permanent wheelchair user now.
And have you had an amputation at some point?
Yeah, 5 years ago I developed septicemia and was admitted into hospital, and I spent 3 months in hospital, during which time a whole lot of things happened, including needing to have my right leg below the knee amputated, essentially to save my life.
Today, I'm giving a bit of a hand, a gentle push, as John uses maximum effort to grind the wheels of his chair up a pretty steep stretch of path in the park. Over his lifetime, John, like thousands of others, has had a very significant helper in the background. Laura Fergusson Rehab.
It's a very special place. I go there often, and I've got a lot of time for the people there, the staff, the management, and the clients are wonderful people. Yeah, it's very, very special.
So how important is it then?
Oh, vital. I think it's one of the vital health and disability services that Auckland has.
Laura Fergusson Rehabilitation's been around for decades and was set up to stop people with disabilities being fobbed off to rest homes because there was nowhere better. Right now, it offers residential care independence for people living with disabilities, along with extensive rehab services for the likes of stroke, brain and spinal injuries. And not just in Auckland, Waikato and Whanganui too. But that is all about to change. Heather McLeish is the boss of Laura Fergusson Rehabilitation.
We're transitioning all services.
What does that mean, transitioning?
It means either finding other places for people to reside or to have their service provided, and or some of the services will be, the contracts are being novated in total to other providers.
What does that mean, novated?
Well, it means sold, given over. So we are out of services. From
in what areas?
All of them.
Auckland, Waikato?
And Whanganui.
And Whanganui. So what have you told your clients?
We have said we're transitioning. And for many of the clients who have lived on site...
So you're closing. You keep using that word transitioning, but you're no longer going to be offering services to these people. That's the reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how have your clients reacted to that?
It's very mixed. Some of them have been quite outstanding with their reaction. Some are very sad, and that was expected. So we planned for a lot of support on site and with people. We've gone out of our way to have weekend meetings and whatever meetings suit families as well.
By August, Laura Fergusson Rehabilitation will be no more. Gone. 69 people need to find new homes, and then there's potentially hundreds of rehab clients. More on them soon. But first, here's John Volk again.
This has come as a complete shock to everybody that's involved. There was no way that I knew, not even a hint, that things were so bad that they would be closing down.
To appreciate how John feels, you need to understand the depth of his relationship with Laura Fergusson. He uses their wheelchair-accessible gym in Auckland most weekdays. He's also a past board member. As a teenager, he spent 2 years living on site, learning, he says, the skills that have allowed him to live independently for more than 40 years. And about 5 years ago, when his leg was cut off to save his life, it was Laura Fergusson who got him back in balance, literally.
So when I went to Laura Fergusson after being 3 months in hospital, I'd been on my back and semi-conscious for most of that 3 months in hospital. So I was having to start again. I was like a baby almost, and needing almost 24/7 care with personal cares, bathing and toileting and stuff like that. And the staff there were doing all of that for me. And because it was rehabilitation, you set some goals for yourself. And my one goal was that I wanted to be able to get back into my car and be able to drive again, because my car is my legs, if you like, and I get out in that, and the world is my oyster. I was admitted into Laura Fergusson in the August of 2015, and by December I was back in my car and driving, and that was really important and massive for me.
His love for both his wheels and Laura Fergusson is obvious.
Well, there's already been a lot of tears and a lot of sadness expressed, shock. People have got to know, if there is no Laura Fergusson to go to, where can they go? Where will they go?
So how has it come to this, an unceremonious end, a quiet shutting of the doors for an organisation that's helped so many?
Literally